The launch chambers deep beneath Europa's surface had been transformed into something that belonged neither to human nor alien technology, but to both. Biomechanical missiles waited in organic launch tubes that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, while human guidance systems interfaced with alien targeting organs that could perceive electromagnetic spectra no human instrument could detect. Elena stood in the Joint Command Center, a hybrid space where human holographic displays merged with alien bioscreens to create a three-dimensional representation of the battle space. Beside her, deep current through-stone monitored readings from sensory organs that could detect the asteroid's approach across millions of kilometers. 30 minutes to optimal launch window, Lieutenant Park reported. All systems showing green across both human and alien components. Elena studied the tactical display. 12 hybrid missiles would launch simultaneously from different points around Europa's surface, following carefully calculated trajectories that would converge on the asteroid from multiple angles. The plan required split-second timing and perfect coordination between technologies that had never been designed to work together. "Commander," Dr. Kim called from the communications station. "We're receiving massive transmission bursts from the asteroid. The harvesters are definitely aware of our preparations." The alien translation systems worked frantically to decode the enemy communications. Memory Keeper of the Long Dark provided interpretation. They expressed surprise and concern. "Our combined technologies produce energy signatures they have not encountered before." "Is that good or bad?" Elena asked. "Unknown. The harvesters are adaptable. They are modifying their approach." The main display updated to show the asteroid's latest trajectory changes. The harvesters were clearly trying to minimize their exposure to the hybrid missile systems, adjusting their path to approach from angles that would make targeting more difficult. 15 minutes to launch, Colonel Webb announced. "All teams report ready status." Elena opened a colony-wide communication channel. "This is Commander Vasquez. In 15 minutes, we will launch humanity's first joint military operation with an alien species. We're not just defending our colony, we're defending the right of intelligent life to exist free from predation. Every person in this colony is part of history today." She switched to a more private channel connecting with the alien leadership. "Deep current through stone, are your people ready?" The response came in harmonics that conveyed both determination and something that might have been hope. "We have waited millennia for this moment. Our ancestors dreamed of the day when we would no longer hide beneath the ice. Today, we fight for the surface." 10 minutes to launch. Elena watched the final preparations. In the missile bays, human technicians worked alongside alien bioengineers to complete the last-minute calibrations. The weapons themselves were marvels of hybrid engineering, part manufactured precision, part living organism, part technology that defied easy classification. Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the communication system. "Commander, the biomechanical interfaces are showing full integration. The missiles are literally thinking, using alien neural networks to process human guidance data and adapt to changing conditions in real time." 5 minutes to launch. The asteroid filled the main display now, its surface revealing details that confirmed their worst fears. The object was covered in artificial structures, weapon emplacements, sensor arrays, and what appeared to be deployment bays for smaller craft. This wasn't just a kinetic weapon. It was a mobile fortress designed to establish harvester control over Europa. "Launch authorization confirmed," Elena announced. "All systems green. Initiating countdown." The final 60 seconds felt like hours. Elena could feel the tension throughout the colony as 47,000 humans and an unknown number of aliens waited to see whether their unprecedented cooperation would succeed or whether they would all die together in the next few hours. 10, 9, 8, 7. Through the command center's reinforced windows, Elena could see the bioluminescent patterns playing across the alien launch sites, their organic systems preparing for the moment of truth. 3, 2, 1, launch. The hybrid missiles erupted from Europa's surface simultaneously, their biomechanical propulsion systems leaving trails of light that were both beautiful and terrifying. Elena watched the tactical display as 12 points of light accelerated away from Europa, following trajectories that would bring them into contact with the asteroid in just over 2 hours. All missiles showing optimal performance, Lieutenant Park reported. Guidance systems fully integrated, biomechanical components adapting to space environment as predicted. Elena allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The launch had succeeded, but the real test was yet to come. The missiles would have to penetrate the asteroid's defenses, burrow into its core, and deliver their payloads precisely where they would do the most good. "Commander," Dr. Kim called urgently. "The asteroid is launching countermeasures. Multiple objects separating from the main body." The display updated to show dozens of smaller craft launching from the asteroid's surface. They moved with the same adaptive intelligence as the hybrid missiles, suggesting that the harvesters also used biomechanical technology. "Defensive systems online," Colonel Webb announced. "If any of those craft get past our missiles, we'll engage them with the surface batteries." Elena watched the developing battle on the tactical display. 12 hybrid missiles against dozens of harvester defenders, with the fate of Europa, and possibly the entire solar system, hanging in the balance. "Time to first contact, 47 minutes, Lieutenant Park reported. Elena settled in to watch humanity's first space battle against an alien enemy, knowing that the next hour would determine whether Earth's children would continue to spread among the stars or whether they would become another victim of the harvester's cosmic predation. The space above Europa became a theater of war unlike anything in human experience. The hybrid missiles, guided by living alien neural networks and human precision electronics, engaged the harvester defensive craft in three-dimensional combat that spanned thousands of kilometers. Elena watched the battle unfold on the Joint Command display, where human tactical systems merged with alien sensory data to provide a complete picture of the engagement. Each hybrid missile was a point of light on the screen, but the alien biosensors revealed them as living entities, complex organisms that thought, adapted, and learned as they fought. "Missile 7 has successfully destroyed 3 harvester craft," Lieutenant Park reported. "The biomechanical targeting system is exceeding all performance parameters. Missile 3 is taking heavy damage but continues on course," Colonel Webb added. "The organic components are rerouting around damaged systems in real time." Deep current throughstone provided additional analysis through harmonic patterns that Dr. Kim translated. "The harvester craft are confused by our missiles' adaptive behavior. Their countermeasures are designed for predictable technology, not living weapons." Elena felt a surge of hope. The aliens' biological approach to warfare was proving effective against an enemy that had dominated the galaxy through superior conventional technology. But the battle was far from over. "Missiles 4 and 9 have been destroyed," Park reported. "But they succeeded in clearing a path for the remaining weapons." On the display, Elena could see the surviving missiles adjusting their approach vectors, using the sacrifice of their companions to optimize their attack angles. It was a level of tactical coordination that no human or alien system could have achieved alone. "Time to impact, 18 minutes, Webb announced. The asteroid's surface erupted with defensive fire, energy beams that could have vaporized any conventional missile. But the hybrid weapons were more than conventional. Their organic components absorbed and redistributed energy, while their manufactured systems provided the structural integrity to survive hits that should have been fatal. "Missile 1 has reached the asteroid's surface," Park reported with excitement. "Beginning penetration sequence." Elena watched as the first hybrid missile burrowed into the asteroid's armored surface like a living drill. The biomechanical system adapted to the material it encountered, changing its approach from mechanical boring to something that resembled biological digestion. "Incredible," Dr. Tanaka breathed from her monitoring station. "The missile is literally eating its way through the asteroid's defenses." More missiles reached the target, each one finding its own path through the enemy's protective systems. The organic components shared information through quantum-entangled neural networks, allowing them to coordinate their attacks at the molecular level. "Missiles 2, 5, and 8 have reached optimal depth," Webb reported. "Initiating payload deployment." The charges carried by the hybrid missiles were as revolutionary as the delivery systems themselves. Human explosive technology enhanced with alien biocatalysts that could convert matter into energy with incredible efficiency. When they detonated, they didn't just destroy, they transformed. The asteroid shuddered as the first charges exploded deep within its core. But instead of simply blowing apart, the exotic materials in its structure began to reorganize under the influence of the alien biocatalysts. What had been a weapon became a resource, what had been solid became workable. "Commander," Dr. Kim called urgently. "We're receiving transmissions from inside the asteroid. The harvesters are still alive in there, and they're not happy." The enemy communications were harsh and aggressive, filled with frequencies that made Elena's teeth ache. Through the translation matrix, she could understand the meaning if not the words: surprise, anger, and something that might have been respect. "They're requesting communication," Memory Keeper of the Long Dark interpreted. "The harvesters wish to negotiate." Elena felt a moment of disbelief. After millennia of galactic predation, the harvesters wanted to talk? Put them through. The communication that filled the command center was unlike anything Elena had experienced. The harvesters' technology was purely artificial, no biological components, no organic integration, just pure mechanical precision. When they spoke, it was with the voice of perfect, emotionless logic. "Human leader entity." The translation came through in synthesized human speech. "Your species demonstrates unexpected capabilities. We propose cessation of hostilities and negotiation of mutual benefit arrangements." Elena looked at Deep Current Thrustone, whose bioluminescent patterns indicated surprise and suspicion. Through their own translation system, the alien provided context. "The harvesters never negotiate. They conquer or they withdraw. This is unprecedented." "What are you offering?" Elena asked the harvesters. "Technological exchange. Your biomechanical integration capabilities in return for our resource extraction and space travel technologies. Joint exploitation of lesser species and uninhabited worlds." The offer was tempting: access to technology that could make humanity a dominant force in the galaxy. But Elena understood the price. They would become junior partners in the harvesters' cosmic exploitation, helping to destroy other civilizations in exchange for technological advancement. "Decline," Elena said firmly. "We're not interested in becoming predators." The harvester response was immediate and angry. "Then you choose destruction. Our main fleet will arrive within one solar rotation. You cannot resist the full power of our civilization." Elena felt her blood run cold. The asteroid had just been the advanced scout. Somewhere in interstellar space, a harvester fleet was approaching the solar system with the power to sterilize entire worlds. "Commander," Deep Current Thrustone communicated with urgent patterns, "this changes everything. We must prepare not just Europa, but all human worlds for what is coming." Elena looked at the tactical display, where the captured asteroid was already being transformed by the combined human-alien technology. What had been a weapon was becoming a fortress, a manufacturing center, a symbol of what two species could accomplish when they worked together. "Dr. Kim, open a channel to Earth. Priority 1, encrypted, all available transmission methods." "Channel open, Commander." Elena took a deep breath before speaking words that would change the course of human history. "This is Commander Elena Vasquez of New Geneva Colony. We have made contact with a friendly alien species and successfully repelled an attack by a hostile alien force. However, intelligence indicates that a larger enemy fleet is approaching the solar system. I am requesting immediate authorization to establish a joint defense alliance with the Europa aliens and to begin preparation of all human colonies for possible attack. We are no longer alone in the universe, and we are no longer safe." She closed the channel and turned to address both the human and alien personnel in the command center. "We've won the first battle, but the war is just beginning. We have work to do." The transformation of the captured asteroid into a joint human-alien fortress took place with incredible speed. The exotic materials from the harvester weapon, when processed through combined biomechanical systems, created structures that were both beautiful and terrifyingly effective. Elena stood in the asteroid's newly constructed command center, watching as human engineers worked alongside alien bioshapers to create defensive systems that neither species could have imagined alone. The facility now orbited Europa as a mobile fortress, its weapons powered by the same energy sources the harvesters had intended to use for destruction. "The fusion of technologies is remarkable," Dr. Tanaka reported, her voice filled with wonder. "The alien biological systems can grow and adapt the fortress's structure in real time, while our manufacturing capabilities provide the precision components needed for advanced weapons systems." Colonel Webb coordinated the military preparations from a tactical center that resembled a living organism more than a traditional command facility. "We now have defensive capabilities that exceed anything in the colonial fleet. The biomechanical weapons systems we've developed could protect not just Europa, but multiple worlds simultaneously." Elena nodded, studying the strategic displays that showed the approach vectors the Harvester main fleet would likely use when it arrived. The intelligence gathered from the captured asteroid indicated they had perhaps 6 months before the enemy reached the solar system in force. "What's the status of our communication with Earth?" Elena asked. Dr. Kim looked up from his enhanced communications array, which now incorporated alien quantum entanglement technology. "We've established real-time communication with Colonial Command. The response has been mixed." Elena had expected as much. Half of Earth's leadership saw the alien alliance as humanity's salvation, while the other half viewed it as a potential threat to human independence. The debates in the Colonial Council had reportedly become so heated that several members had called for Elena's court-martial. "Commander," Deep Current Thruestone approached with urgent harmonic patterns, "we have received communication from our deep ocean cities. Other European communities wish to join the alliance." Elena felt a surge of hope. The Europa aliens had revealed that their civilization was far larger than initially believed. Dozens of city-states spread throughout the moon's subsurface ocean, each with specialized capabilities that could contribute to the common defense. "What can they offer?" Elena asked. The response came through Memory Keeper of the Longark, whose ancient wisdom had proven invaluable in understanding both alien technologies and harvester tactics. "Manufacturing capabilities that dwarf your surface facilities. Biological engineering that can create living starships. And knowledge of other species the harvesters have attacked." Elena's eyes widened. "Other species? There are survivors?" "Few, but yes. Scattered throughout the galaxy, hiding in places the harvesters consider worthless. If we can contact them, coordinate with them, we could build a galactic resistance," Elena finished. The implications were staggering. Humanity's first contact with alien intelligence had revealed not just one other species, but the possibility of an entire network of civilizations united against a common enemy. "Dr. Kim, what's our capability for interstellar communication using the enhanced systems?" "Theoretical range is several hundred light-years, but we'd need to build much larger arrays. The good news is that the alien biotechnology can grow communication organs that are far more sensitive than anything we can manufacture." Elena made another decision that would reshape human destiny. "I want a crash program to establish contact with any surviving resistant species. If we're going to fight the harvesters, we need allies." "Commander," Lieutenant Park interrupted with urgent news, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the outer system. Multiple objects approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit." Elena felt her stomach drop. "Are they harvesters?" "Unknown, but the energy signatures are consistent with advanced space travel technology. Whatever they are, they're big and they're moving fast." The main display updated to show the approaching objects. There were 12 of them, each roughly the size of a small moon, approaching the solar system from different vectors. Their energy signatures were unlike anything in human or Europalian databases. "Time to arrival?" Elena asked. "At current velocity, the lead elements will reach Jupiter's orbit in approximately 48 hours. Elena realized they were about to face their first test as a unified alliance. The fortress they had built from the Harvester asteroid was powerful, but could it stand against 12 unknown objects of that size? "All departments, prepare for possible engagement," Elena announced. "And get me a direct communication channel with Colonial Command on Earth." They need to know what's heading toward the inner system. As the colony prepared for what might be their final battle, Elena reflected on how much had changed in just a few weeks. Humanity had gone from being alone in the universe to being part of a galactic conflict that spanned millions of years. They had gained allies, enemies, and technology that could reshape civilization itself. But most importantly, they had learned that survival in the universe required more than individual strength. It required the courage to work with others, to trust in the possibility of cooperation across the vast differences of evolution and experience. The approaching objects would test whether that lesson had been learned well enough to save not just humanity, but all the other species counting on them to succeed. The 12 massive objects that had approached from the outer system came to a halt just beyond Jupiter's orbit, their energy signatures shifting from propulsion to communication modes. Elena stood in the hybrid command center of the asteroid fortress, watching as the most sophisticated detection systems humanity and the Europa aliens had ever created worked to analyze the newcomers. "They're not harvesters," Dr. Tanaka reported with relief. "The technology signatures are completely different. More organic. Similar to our Europa allies but with much greater complexity." Deep current through stones bioluminescent patterns flickered with what Elena had learned to recognize as excitement mixed with disbelief. The aliens' harmonic communication was so rapid that Dr. Kim's translation systems struggled to keep up. "What are they saying?" Elena asked. "They recognize the technology signatures," Dr. Kim finally managed to translate. "These aren't unknown aliens, they're Europa aliens. Other colonies, other ships, other communities that have been scattered throughout the solar system for millennia." Elena stared at the display showing the 12 massive objects. "You mean there are Europa aliens on other worlds?" Memory Keeper of the Long Dark provided the explanation through complex harmonic patterns that told a story spanning thousands of years. The Europa aliens weren't native to Jupiter's moon. They were refugees from a galactic civilization that had been scattered by previous harvester attacks. Europa had been just one sanctuary among many, hidden beneath the ice of dead worlds throughout the solar system. "They've been on Titan, Enceladus, Ganymede, even in the asteroid belt." Dr. Kim translated the ongoing communication. "Hiding, growing, preparing for the day when they would be strong enough to fight back." "And that day is now?" Elena asked. "The successful defense of Europa and the capture of harvester technology has sent a signal throughout the solar system. The scattered communities are uniting for the first time in 4,000 years." Elena felt the magnitude of the moment settle over her. Humanity hadn't just made contact with one alien species, they had become the catalyst for the reunification of an ancient, scattered civilization. The implications were staggering. "Commander," Colonel Webb reported from the tactical station, "we're receiving formal communication from the approaching ships. They're requesting permission to establish joint operations with our fortress. Put them through." The communication that filled the command center was unlike anything they had experienced before. It was the voice of Deep Current Through Stone's people, but magnified, harmonized, speaking with the authority of entire civilizations rather than individuals. "Human allies," the translation came through in multiple harmonic layers. "We greet you as the catalyst of reunion. Your courage in defending Europa has awakened possibilities we had not dared to hope for. We offer the combined resources of 12 hidden worlds in alliance against the harvesters." Elena found her voice. "We accept your offer of alliance. What resources are you bringing to the fight?" The response was overwhelming. The 12 ships represented not just military force, but the accumulated knowledge and technology of a civilization that had been preparing for this moment for millennia. Manufacturing capabilities that could produce living starships, weapons systems that used controlled biological evolution to adapt to any threat, and most importantly, detailed intelligence on harvester tactics and weaknesses gathered from thousands of years of observation. "We bring more than resources," the communication continued. "We bring knowledge of the other scattered races, the hidden civilizations that survive in the dark spaces between stars. The harvesters believe they have conquered the galaxy, but they have only conquered the obvious worlds. The true strength of galactic civilization has been hidden, waiting." Elena realized she was witnessing the beginning of something unprecedented, a galactic uprising that would span star systems and involve species that had never been in contact with each other. Humanity had accidentally become the focal point for a revolution that could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. "What do you need from us?" Elena asked. "Your manufacturing capabilities, your adaptability, your willingness to take risks that more cautious species avoid. But most importantly, your perspective as a species that has never been conquered, never been forced to hide. You still think like conquerors, and that is what we need to defeat the Harvesters." Elena looked around the command center at the human and Europa alien personnel working together, their different capabilities creating synergies that neither species could have achieved alone. Now that cooperation would expand to include 12 more communities, and eventually, if their plans succeeded, species from across the galaxy. Dr. Kim established communication protocols with all 12 ships. "I want full integration of their technology and intelligence data with our systems. Colonel Webb, begin coordinating joint military operations. We're not just defending Europa anymore, we're planning the liberation of the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka, I want joint research programs established immediately. If we're going to fight the Harvesters on a galactic scale, we need to understand every aspect of their technology and biology." Elena paused, looking out at the display showing the 12 massive ships taking up positions around Jupiter. Each one represented a different adaptation to hiding and survival, different solutions to the same problem of staying alive in a galaxy dominated by predators. "And I want regular communication established with Earth and all human colonies. Humanity is about to become part of something much larger than our own expansion. We need to make sure we're ready for what that means." As the asteroid fortress began to transform once again, this time into the headquarters for a galactic resistance, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. They had started as miners, extracting resources from a dead moon. Now they were revolutionaries, preparing to challenge an empire that had dominated the galaxy for millions of years. The Harvesters had made one crucial mistake. They had underestimated the power of cooperation, the strength that came from different species working together toward a common goal. That mistake was about to cost them everything. 6 weeks after the arrival of the 12 refugee ships, the Jupiter system had become the hub of a galactic communication network that spanned distances previously thought impossible. Elena stood in the expanded command center of what was now being called Unity Station, watching data streams flow in from contacts across the galaxy. The transformation had been extraordinary. The combined biomechanical technology of humanity and the scattered Europa civilization had created communication systems that used quantum entanglement enhanced by living organisms capable of processing information across dimensional barriers. They were now in contact with survivors from over 30 different species, scattered across hundreds of star systems. The Kepler 442 system has confirmed they can provide manufacturing support, Dr. Kim reported from the communications nexus, which now resembled a living organism more than a traditional technology suite. "They've been hiding in the asteroid fields for 800 years, but they've maintained industrial capabilities." Elena nodded, studying the strategic display that showed the growing network of resistance cells throughout the galaxy. Each point of light represented a civilization that had refused to surrender to the Harvesters, that had found ways to survive and hide while waiting for an opportunity to fight back. "What about the Tau Ceti colonies?" Elena asked. 3 species in that system, all with different specializations. The aquatic Deep Watch can provide biological weapons, the crystalline resonance offer energy manipulation technology, and the gaseous drift have mobility capabilities that could revolutionize our fleet movements. Deep Current Thrustone approached with urgent harmonic patterns. The alien had become Elena's closest advisor, its ancient wisdom helping to navigate the complex politics of galactic resistance coordination. "The network grows stronger each day," Dr. Kim translated the alien's communication. "But the Harvesters are not idle. Our intelligence indicates they are accelerating their timeline." Elena felt a familiar chill. "How much time do we have?" Memory Keeper of the Long Dark provided the answer through patterns that conveyed both urgency and determination. The main Harvester fleet will arrive in the solar system within 90 days. But they are bringing more than weapons, they are bringing harvesting technology designed to process entire worlds. Elena studied the intelligence data flowing in from across the galaxy. The Harvesters weren't just planning to destroy human and Europa alien civilization, they intended to strip mine every world in the solar system, reducing planets and moons to raw materials for their expanding empire. Commander, Colonel Webb reported from the Military Coordination Center. We now have confirmed military support from 47 different species. The combined fleet strength exceeds anything the galaxy has seen since the Harvester expansion began. Elena looked at the tactical display showing ship positions throughout the solar system. The assembled fleet was indeed impressive, but she knew that raw numbers wouldn't be enough against an enemy that had conquered most of the galaxy through superior technology and ruthless efficiency. What about our secret weapon projects? Elena asked. Dr. Tanaka looked up from her research station, where she had been working with alien scientists to develop new forms of biomechanical warfare. The evolutionary weapons are exceeding all expectations. We can now create biological systems that adapt faster than Harvester countermeasures can be developed. Elena nodded. The key to defeating the Harvesters lay not in matching their technology, but in creating something completely different. Weapons and defenses that evolved in real time, that became more effective the longer the battle continued. It was the ultimate expression of biological thinking applied to warfare. And the manufacturing capabilities? Beyond anything we imagined possible, Dr. Tanaka replied with excitement. The combined biomechanical systems can literally grow fleets. We can create living starships that are born knowing how to fight, that improve their capabilities through experience. Elena felt a surge of hope. For the first time since learning about the Harvester threat, she believed they might actually have a chance of not just surviving, but winning. Dr. Kim, I want a message sent to all resistance cells throughout the galaxy. The solar system will make it stand in 90 days. Anyone who wants to strike back against the Harvesters should coordinate their attacks with our defense. It's time to show them that their victims haven't forgotten how to fight. The response to Elena's message exceeded all expectations. Within days, reports began arriving of resistance attacks throughout the galaxy. Hidden civilizations emerged from their hiding places to strike at Harvester facilities, supply lines, and communication networks. The galaxy was awakening to the possibility of freedom. But Elena knew the real test would come when the main Harvester fleet arrived at Earth's doorstep. Everything they had built, every alliance they had forged, every weapon they had developed would be tested against an enemy that had never known defeat. The Jupiter system bustled with activity as the largest fleet in galactic history prepared for the battle that would determine the future of intelligent life throughout the galaxy. Humanity had gone from being unknown explorers to becoming the leaders of a galactic revolution. And in 90 days, they would discover whether courage and cooperation could triumph over conquest and domination. The Harvester main fleet emerged from hyperspace like a plague of artificial stars, their energy signatures so massive they temporarily disrupted Jupiter's magnetic field. Elena watched from Unity Station's command center as over 300 massive ships took up positions throughout the outer solar system, each one capable of reducing a planet to its component atoms. Fleet composition confirms our worst intelligence estimates, Colonel Webb reported grimly. Harvester dreadnoughts, planet crackers, and at least 50 world processor ships. They're not planning to occupy the solar system, they're planning to consume it entirely. Elena studied the tactical display where the combined resistance fleet took up defensive positions around Jupiter, Saturn, and the inner system. They had assembled over 800 ships from 47 different species, the largest military force in galactic history. But the Harvesters had numbers, technology, and the experience of 1 million successful conquests. All resistance fleets, this is Unity Station Command, Elena announced over the Galactic Communication Network. The Harvester main fleet has arrived. Execute Plan Omega. Throughout the galaxy, the message triggered simultaneous attacks on Harvester facilities. Hidden civilizations emerged from their sanctuaries to strike at supply depots, communication relays, and administrative centers. The Harvesters suddenly found themselves fighting a coordinated rebellion spanning thousands of star systems. But Elena knew the real battle would be decided here, in humanity's home system. Incoming transmission from the Harvester flagship. Dr. Kim reported from the Enhanced Communications Center. Put them through. The Harvester communication filled the command center with mechanical precision and absolute confidence. Human leader entity, your resistance ends now. Surrender your biomechanical technologies and we will process your species efficiently. Continue to resist and we will ensure your extinction is preceded by maximum suffering. Elena looked around the command center at the faces of humans and aliens working together, their different capabilities creating something greater than the sum of their parts. This is Commander Elena Vasquez of Unity Station. We reject your terms. The solar system is under the protection of the Galactic Resistance Alliance. Leave now or face the consequences. The Harvester response was immediate. The outer system erupted in weapons fire as the massive fleet began its advance toward the inner planets. All fleets, engage the enemy! Elena ordered. The Battle of the Solar System began with the largest space engagement in galactic history. Living starships bred for war engaged mechanical dreadnoughts in three-dimensional combat spanning millions of kilometers. Biomechanical weapons that evolved in real time fought against artificial intelligence systems that calculated the probabilities of destruction with mathematical precision. The evolutionary weapons are performing beyond expectations, Dr. Tanaka reported from her tactical station. Our ships are adapting to Harvester attacks faster than their systems can compensate. Elena watched as resistance fighters developed new capabilities in the middle of combat. Ships that had been damaged by Harvester energy weapons suddenly became immune to similar attacks, while biological systems learned to process and redirect the enemy's own firepower. Commander, deep current through Stone's harmonic communication carried notes of both hope and concern. The battle progresses well, but the Harvesters are adapting their strategy. They are targeting Unity Station directly. Elena saw the tactical display update to show a formation of Harvester planet crackers breaking away from the main engagement, heading directly for Jupiter and the command center of the Resistance. All defensive systems online, Colonel Webb ordered. Prepare for direct assault. Unity Station had been transformed from a captured asteroid into the most sophisticated fortress in the galaxy, combining human engineering with alien biotechnology and exotic materials from across the galaxy. But it had never been tested against the full power of Harvester world-destroying technology. The first wave of attacks tested the station's adaptive defenses. Energy beams that could melt continents were absorbed and redirected by biological systems that learned to process the exotic energy forms. Kinetic weapons that could shatter moons were deflected by force fields that strengthened under pressure. Station defenses holding, Lieutenant Park reported. But they're learning our capabilities. The second wave will be different. Elena watched the approaching Harvester ships reconfigure their weapons, adapting to the resistance they had encountered. The enemy's ability to modify their technology in real time was impressive, but it couldn't match the creative adaptability of biological systems enhanced by conscious intelligence. Dr. Kim, open a channel to all resistance forces throughout the galaxy, Elena ordered. It's time to show the Harvesters what cooperation can accomplish. The message Elena sent triggered the final phase of the galactic uprising. Hidden civilizations throughout the galaxy simultaneously revealed themselves, their combined technologies creating a quantum communication network that spanned the entire galaxy. Every resistance ship, every hidden colony, every survivor who had refused to surrender suddenly became part of a single, unified intelligence. The effect on the battle was immediate and devastating. Resistance ships began fighting with perfect coordination. Their tactics adapted not just to local conditions but to the overall strategic situation across the entire galaxy. The Harvesters found themselves facing an enemy that could think and act as a single entity while maintaining the creative flexibility of thousands of different species. Harvester fleet is in full retreat, Colonel Webb reported with amazement. They're abandoning their positions throughout the galaxy. It's a complete rout. Elena watched the tactical display as the massive Harvester fleet began withdrawing from the solar system, but she knew the battle was far from over. The harvesters would regroup, adapt, and return with new strategies and technologies. But something fundamental had changed in the galaxy. The scattered survivors of 1,000,000 conquests had learned they were not alone, that cooperation could triumph over domination, that diversity was stronger than uniformity. Elena opened a channel to the entire Galactic Resistance Network. "This is Unity Station Command. The solar system is secure. The galaxy is awakening. The age of the harvesters is ending, and the age of cooperation has begun." As celebrations erupted throughout the solar system and reports of victory arrived from across the galaxy, Elena reflected on how far they had come from those first days of mining Europa's ice. Humanity had found its place not as conquerors of space, but as catalysts for the galaxy's liberation. The universe was vast and full of challenges, but it was no longer empty. Humanity had learned the most important lesson of all: they were not alone, and together, they were unstoppable. 5 years after the Battle of the Solar System, Elena stood on the observation deck of the starship New Geneva, watching as the combined human-alien exploration fleet approached their destination, a star system 200 light-years from Earth where the Galactic Resistance Alliance had detected signs of intelligent life. The galaxy had changed dramatically since the defeat of the Harvester main fleet. The scattered survivors of 1,000,000 conquered worlds had emerged from hiding to reclaim their heritage, while the harvesters themselves had fragmented into competing factions, some seeking reconciliation and others retreating to the galactic rim to plan new conquests. Preliminary scans show 3 inhabited worlds, Dr. Tanaka reported from her science station. 2 appear to be pre-industrial civilizations, but the third shows signs of space travel capability. Elena nodded, studying the data flowing in from their hybrid biomechanical sensors. The exploration fleet consisted of ships grown rather than built, living vessels that combined the best of human engineering with alien biotechnology. They were diplomatic missions as much as scientific expeditions, seeking to make contact with isolated civilizations and offer them membership in the growing Galactic Alliance. "Any signs of harvester activity in the system?" Elena asked. Deep Current Thruestone, now serving as the fleet's alien affairs coordinator, provided the answer through harmonic patterns that had become as familiar as spoken language. "No indications of harvester presence. This system appears to have been overlooked during their expansion, possibly due to its location in a stellar formation that made detection difficult." Elena felt a familiar excitement. Each new contact brought the possibility of new knowledge, new technologies, new perspectives on the universe. The galaxy was revealing itself to be far more diverse and interesting than anyone had imagined during the dark years of harvester domination. "Dr. Kim, prepare first contact protocols," Elena ordered. "Standard diplomatic approach, mathematical communication, cultural exchange offers, and mutual defense information." "Already prepared, Commander. The communications array is configured for broad-spectrum contact attempts." Elena looked out at the alien star system, its planets glowing like jewels in the light of their orange sun. Somewhere on those worlds, intelligent beings were living their lives, perhaps looking up at the stars and wondering if they were alone in the universe. They were about to learn they weren't alone, and that the universe was full of friends waiting to meet them. "Begin first contact procedures," Elena ordered. "Let's see what new wonders this system has to offer." As the New Geneva and its escort ships moved deeper into the alien system, Elena reflected on how much had changed since those first days on Europa. Humanity had begun as miners, seeking resources to fuel their expansion. They had become warriors, fighting for survival against an implacable enemy. Now they were explorers again, but with a difference: they weren't seeking worlds to conquer, but civilizations to befriend. The galaxy was vast and full of possibilities. And for the first time in millions of years, those possibilities were being shaped not by conquest and domination, but by cooperation and hope. Elena smiled as the first response signals began arriving from the third planet, mathematical sequences that indicated intelligence, curiosity, and perhaps the beginning of another friendship that would span the stars. The universe was no longer dark and empty. It was full of light, life, and infinite potential. And humanity, along with their alien allies, would spend the rest of eternity exploring it together.